Hi everyone, how are you? We are back again with the Love of You series in collaboration with IEC, and I'm just gonna wait for Kumkum to join in. And yes, also if you have any questions, please feel free to write them in the comment section, and we're gonna happily address those. Okay, she's here, so I'm just gonna add her in. Hi,
Hi, hello.
how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Good, good, good. So, I mean, this is the second time that you are there with regards to our live session. So, I'm so glad to have you here yet again on another topic
Thank
which
you.
is of utmost relevance, I think. So, in today's time, so I was just telling our viewers about the topic and, wanted to just share a little brief because basically for the Love of You series, we've tried to compile in all the topics that are of utmost relevance right now and very important. And keeping that in mind, for a fact, I know that we all have been working from home ever since a year, more than a year precisely. This started last year in 2020, and many of us still do continue working from home and long working hours. And I think we all ask ourselves these questions that, oh, is there a work life balance which we have? Or how do I keep myself sane through this work that is there? So, and I feel we all are in the same boat with regards to this. And, talking about this, we're going to talk about work-life balance today. And I have with me Miss Kumkum, who is a psychologist associated with IEC. So, before we move on, would you like to, tell a little about yourself to our viewers?
Sure. So I am Kumkum, a psychologist. I'm associated with IEC. I've been working with them as a counselor. I also love facilitating workshops and webinars. And the lockdown has given me a lot of such opportunities where I've done lots of online events. And I'm really looking forward to this one too.
Same here. So, talking about this topic, the first thing that usually comes in my mind is how would you explain work-life balance? What it is according to you?
Yeah. So, maybe when I say work-life balance, you're looking at it as two different things, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Work and life. But they're not two different things. Why are we looking at it as two opposite things or, two enemies? Okay? What is life? What is work? Work is part of living.
Right.
Yeah. So work is part of living, and we play various roles in our life. Okay. So for example, what is work for me may be play for you, and what is play for me may probably be work for you. So it's
Hmm.
very personal and very individualistic. For
Right.
example, I had a client. Okay, she is a teacher and she loves, teaching. She loves being in school with her children. She loves doing all the research that she needs to do, for her classes, and she just enjoys her work.
Hmm.
However, she hates going back home because she goes back into a joint family. She does
Right.
not like housework. She does not like cooking. All those things she finds it very boring. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Alternatively, another client, she loves being at home. She loves, cooking. She loves decorating her house. She hates her work. And in fact, she's thinking of quitting. So,
Okay.
so do you understand? So what is work for me could be, a play for you or could be something of pleasure for you. What is pleasure for you could be work for me. So it's very
Mm-hmm.
individualistic. What I'm trying to say here is that each of us play various roles in our life. Okay,
Hmm.
so there is a psychologist called Dr. E. Super, and he says that each of us have these life career roles.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
and so what are these life career roles? So we are a child, student. We have this leisure time. Okay, we are a citizen, worker, parent, spouse, homemaker. These are the
Hmm.
various roles that we play. And how much importance we give to each role depends on our age.
Hmm.
So below 18, you may give a more importance to being a child, being a student. maybe, leisure, you have more time for leisure activities. So you're doing these things. Above 18, you're still a child. You will continue being a child until both your parents are no more. Okay.
True.
You will, and then let's look at citizen. What is citizen? What are you giving to the country? Are you like, let's say youngsters, you will see a lot of youngsters doing, working in NGOs, or, giving, teaching children on the streets, or, even like, looking at, environmental, issues, or, saving, recycling plastic. So you're doing things for the community, for the country. And then you also, like, as you grow older and become middle aged or even young adult, you start looking at, okay, what is my career option? Then middle age, you look at, okay, my spouse, my children. Then you may have to take care of your parents because they are becoming older. So you see, each this one in your life, stage in your life, there are certain roles you need to play. Okay, and it is important for us to identify these roles. If you're ready, Nidhi, I would like to do an activity with you.
Done. Looking forward.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So think about what are the roles that you are playing.
Right.
Okay. Okay. And take a paper and draw a pie chart. Okay. Like a circle, and make it into a pie chart where you are plotting that, this much time I want to give for each role. Like, what a pie chart is like a round and like a piece, right? So try to put down your roles and how much time you're spending on each role on that pie chart.
Okay. Fine. Okay.
So first tell me, what are your roles?
So if I had to say this and bifurcate this, like you said, of course, a citizen, I can say a worker, a student, which is of course of utmost importance right now, a daughter, then a friend, of course. And yeah, I mean, if I have to say these, but you keep shifting your roles from time and again, but the most major important ones are these.
Okay. So plot them in the pie chart now.
Okay. Depending on how much I give to each
role,
like
how much time you're giving. Yeah.
Okay.
And the viewers can also try this. Also, one thing I would like, as Nidhi is sort of drawing it, what I would like to say is, you continue drawing. What I would like to say is that when you're looking at these roles, you're also looking at, like if you say citizen, or say parent or child, you're also looking at within each role the care you have to give yourself as well to be able to achieve these roles in a successful manner. Like, for example, let's say I am playing the role of a student. And if you're playing the role of a student, are you doing everything to be a student? Like, for example, are you taking care of your nutrition? Are you taking care of your sleep? Are you taking care of, your physical health? Right? If I am a parent, then am I taking care of myself? So in each role, your self-care also is important. Okay.
Right. So one thing I think most importantly, then I forgot this when you asked me the roles I play. Then in that case, the most important part is of myself then. Like Nidhi, that's the most important role I play.
Yeah.
I often forget that. Like right now when you made that, I realized that, okay, more than being a friend, citizen or a daughter, I am Nidhi and that's the biggest role I play. But yeah,
Yes.
I have kind of made this, I mean, I don't know if I've done justice to it, but if you could.
It looks, Yes. Yeah. So what have you mentioned on that? Can you just point it out?
Yes. So the first one I have mentioned worker, then I have mentioned student,
So
then
how much space have you given for the worker? Can you
so
show that? Can
apparently
you point?
yes. Yes. So this half of the pie diagram is worker and student, and the other half has all three.
Okay.
So,
And what are the other three? Sorry. So
so
worker and student is the.
yes, then that's a friend out here. I have citizen and I have a daughter.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Fine. So daughter means like a child. You are being
yes,
role of a child.
yes.
Yeah. Okay. So now when you're looking at it, what do you feel about it? Are you satisfied with the time in each role?
Honestly, now when I see that, it just makes a lot of sense that, okay, talking about these topics and, kind of putting them in, it is not. Honestly, I'm not. I think my half of the
Okay.
pie diagram is just in the worker and the student aspect, and the other half is possibly, I mean, there's no proper balance, if I can say.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So that's good. So now, where would you like to give more time? From which aspect would you like to take out some time, or just where would you like to give more time? First, let's
I
do that.
think possibly as a daughter right now at this point. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you would like to give more time as a daughter to your parents.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So now looking at your chart, do you think you will be able to say, okay, how will you be able to give more time?
Mm-hmm. Maybe making more time, and I mean, not by making more time as in reducing my working hours, and possibly, this one thing that is there about me is I can't say no. So possibly if there's work that's come even after my working hours, possibly saying no to that post 6 p.m. or something, and making that shift. Maybe this makes sense at this
Mm-hmm.
point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what about probably, weekends you can spend more time with them.
Right.
And, so you see what the start is making you do is making you understand where you're giving less time. Where is it that you would like to give more time? That is
Right.
also important, right? Maybe you don't want to give more time in a certain area, and that's okay. But if you feel like, okay, I want to give more time, I want to be a daughter now to my parents and give them more time. So then you can evaluate as to, okay, if I'm giving so much time for my work, which areas of my work can I cut down a bit? Or,
Right.
how can I prioritize my work and being with my parents?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I can take one day or one evening off in the week and
Hmm.
have dinner with them, or watch a movie with them, or just chat with them. Maybe I can
Hmm.
use my weekends and plan outings with them. So you see,
Right.
it is easier for you to be able to plan this, and
Hmm.
how and where you can focus your energies.
Right.
It gives
Right.
you a sort of direction. Is it making sense? Like, looking at
Right.
these different roles
Honestly, when
and
you said this, I thought I didn't think of it that it would be so reflective, but when I actually did the activity, it does make a lot of sense and a lot of reflection and introspection goes into this. So it does. It
yeah.
indeed does.
Yeah, but again, remember, if you need to give time to your parents, okay, or even if you need to complete whatever the work that you're doing, it is first important for you to take care of yourself, your health, your physical health, nutrition. You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
you should be fit in order for you to do that, in order
Right.
for you to complete your work effectively, in order for you to plan time with your parents. It is also first important for you to give time for your own nourishment, for your own growth,
True, true, true. Very rightly
right?
said. I think when I made this, that's what I started. I mean, initially said that when I made this, I think that
Yeah,
there should have been one more dissection and a division for Nidhi because as an individual. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
coming to discussing so much about the roles that we all play. So how do you think and like do you think there are any strategies or tips for a healthy work-life balance in that case?
Yes. So when you're looking for what is it that how can you have a healthy work-life balance? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
First is the roles. Examine what are the roles that you want to play.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
which role do you want to give time to in that particular week, maybe? Okay, so having a plan and having some goals for each role.
Hmm.
Once you
Hmm.
have that, then it is important for you to manage the people around you and their expectations. For
Hmm.
example, let's say that you want to spend more time with your parents this week. Okay, But you also know that you need to meet certain deadlines at work, and you need to manage your expectations of your team or your manager and your boss. So it is important for you to have those communication channels open. Tell them that you're planning to, maybe take the evening off to be with your
Right.
parents. Okay, is there anything that you would like me to do on this particular day, or is it okay for me to leave a little early? Okay.
Right. Right.
For example, a client of mine, she wanted to have this eye surgery, this laser surgery that you do, and she asked her office for a few days off, and they said this particular week I cannot give you the time off because it's a very important week. And the doctor also said that this is the only week I can give you the surgery because I'm not there. So what did she have to do? So she knew that, okay, one thing is not changeable, that I cannot ask the doctor to push my surgery. But the surgery is important. I don't want to wait for another month when the doctor is back. So then she had to manage her expectations at work. So she had to talk about it to her manager, tell them that I'm sorry, it is just impossible. Can I since it's a laser surgery and it may be difficult for me to work for 8 hours. So maybe I can do work 2-3 hours in between, or maybe I can ask my friend to do some work for me, or help a junior in the team or my teammate. I can talk to them over the phone and take them through what is required. So you're able to manage those expectations.
True. So I think
Right?
also
So
that
yes,
managing, even prioritizing comes as a very important factor because, like you said,
correct.
that she had two things in mind, so she had to prioritize which one is of utmost importance at this time.
Yes, yes,
Right.
yes, yes. And also one more thing, right? Taking care of your health, like I said, is important. Imagine what if you are, so you're weak because you have not eaten. There was this client of mine who was studying for his exams, his MBBS exams, and he was so, studying 24 hours that he wouldn't eat on time. And because he didn't eat on time and he wouldn't sleep properly, what started happening that he started becoming weak, right? And then he started having stomach issues, stomach problems, because he was not sleeping properly. Also, his mind was not rested enough. So you know that when your mind is not rested enough, it doesn't work properly. So then you have concentration issues, memory loss, right? So you are spending so much of time studying for an exam, but the purpose of that studying is not met because you're not taking care of yourself.
Right.
You
Right.
can't
Right.
really study if you have a stomach upset or a stomach problem. You can't study if you don't have concentration, right?
True. True.
So it's sort of very important for us to take care of ourselves first. Learn to say no. Some things you have to say.
True.
Like this client of mine, she told her manager that I'm sorry, I have to do this. I cannot be there full time, but I'm willing to make some compromise. If she had
Right.
said no, then her surgery would have probably be delayed by a month or so,
True. True.
right?
True.
And then plan for fun activities also. Because it's important for us to have fun. It's important for us to have hobbies. Because when we have fun, when we have hobbies, what happens is, the different neurotransmitters and the chemicals that, affect our happiness, all that is also like charged up. Like there is more dopamine, there is more serotonin. We feel happy, we feel good. When we feel happy and good, we feel confident. When we feel
True.
confident, our self-esteem increases. Then when we have higher self-esteem, then we are able to make better choices.
True. True. True.
So
True. True.
everything is connected.
True. So, like talking about everything is connected, and the very important example that you gave that of of your client that he was a student, of course, but in that process he did not eat and he was kind of more focused on being a student. So, what exactly do you think happens when there is no work-life balance? So,
So when there is no work-life balance, what happens? So what is having no work-life balance? That is when you are spending too much of time on one particular role, or you're doing something that you are not, you're doing something and this fatigue doing the same thing again and again, and you're not giving yourself a break or not doing some other activity, right? There's some sort of a monotony also sets in. So what the symptoms or the signs that you know that, okay, there's something wrong with my work-life balance can be seen in the way you behave, in the physical, it can be manifested physically. or it can be manifested with your emotions. So what do I mean by that? So first, let's look at the physical aspects. Okay, there will be pain in the body. So suddenly there's a lot of headache, frequent back pains, irritation, not very good bowel movements. So you will see that, or watering eyes, right? So you will see that you see physical signs that are manifesting. There was one of my friends, right? Whenever we had some project to submit and she was working overtime, she would have a neck pain. Her neck would just become stiff, and she wouldn't even be able to move. And she hadn't realized it. It was after, like, when we sort of noticed this happening as a pattern and we pointed it out to her, then she realized that, hey, yeah, when I'm in stress, when I'm working non-stop on a project, then this happens. And because of that awareness, she was able to change her ways.
Right.
So then after that, I don't think that happened to her. Because the minute that started happening, she knew that I need to take a break. I need rest. Yeah.
True.
When you look at behavior, what happens is you may get, you may snap at people easily. Okay. Why are you snapping at people easily? Because let's go look at the emotions, the feelings. You are feeling angry, you're feeling irritated, you're feeling tired. Okay?
Right.
So these feelings will probably make you behave in a very snappish manner, where you may not even have patience in if you go to buy something and the person at the counter is not. Yeah. So you may just snap at the person at the counter, or you will see yourself sitting in front of the computer and just scrolling through social media aimlessly.
True.
You've lost all focus. Or you're working on the same PPT again and again and again. You're making small changes. Right? Sometimes we tend to do that. Right? We're changing the color. We're changing one line. So, yeah. So all these, or you're just glued to your phone. You're looking at your emails, constantly, continuously replying to emails, even though it's after, let's say 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. or during the weekends. So these are some of the symptoms that, okay, fine, I don't have a proper work-life balance. Oh, and the best part is you will know that there is no work-life balance because you'll be fighting with your relatives, your spouse, your parents, your children. They will tell you, "Arey, you're not spending enough time with us.
Right.
We're not gone on a vacation."
True. I think this is something that's anyway happening right now since we all are working from home, that we are so glued in front of our screens that there's no proper time that's there. Like our working hours are not defined. So, like, okay, we've started at 7 and then there's a meeting that's come in and we have to go for that. And of course, the most important thing that happens is, like you mentioned, that be very assertive and say no, which I think we all somewhere at some point lack in, maybe saying no to our superiors कि यार ये कर लेते हैं type. So how can we work from home effectively right now?
Yeah, I know. Because of this lockdown, it's become very difficult for us to even draw, boundaries, work boundaries. And that's when you're saying, it's difficult for us to say no because we are not drawing those boundaries. We ourselves are not keeping any boundaries, right? We wake up in the same room, we work in the same room, we probably eat in the same room, right? So the boundaries have disappeared during the lockdown. So it is very important for us to start setting boundaries for ourselves and for others. Okay. So first boundary is act as if you're going to work. So dress for success. When you're going to work, you're not going to sit with your pajamas. Right? So why am I saying set boundaries? Because when you're dressing for success, when you're going through the process of bathing, dressing up, your mind is getting ready for work. Mentally, your mind is preparing itself. Right? So there is a transformation happening from home to work. So when you're actually traveling to work on the road, your mind is transforming itself. I'm leaving one area and going to the other.
This is something I've seen a lot of people just getting off the bed, just possibly combing their hair, wearing shorts underneath and just sitting in front of the camera. So I think this indeed plays a very major role, and rightly, like you said, that dress for success. So I think I just love it. Yeah.
Yeah. And also what's happening during the lockdown, we're all feeling stressed. there is
Hmm.
anxiety. So our
Hmm.
moods are low. But when
Hmm.
you dress up, your mood sort of changes
Yeah, right,
because there's
true.
a purpose, there's a direction, there's some
Hmm.
sort of a focus, and you're not thinking about all the negative thoughts.
Right. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. So dressing for success is one. Then sticking to a routine. So okay, I'm
Hmm.
going to have my breakfast and then I'm going to sit at this. I'm going to finish this work and then probably have my lunch and then have this meeting. So again, a routine is sort of giving you a focus, goals, a sense of
Hmm.
purpose. It is
Hmm. Hmm.
telling you what to do because a lot of times we just get lost in our thoughts, and a
Hmm.
lot of us are getting a lot of negative thoughts these days because of what is
True.
happening, around that. So again, the routine is telling your mind, hey, come back, you have something to do, you're
Hmm.
supposed to
Hmm.
do this next, focus
Hmm.
on this. So sticking to a routine is very, very important. A lot of times what happens is because we are at home, we forget to have lunch. we,
Right.
we have lunch at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
Skipping
Yeah,
meals has been a thing ever since this pandemic, I feel, especially like you might
yeah.
not have lunch or maybe even forget to take your medicines or drink water for that matter.
Yes, 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 correct. So it is important for you. So I know somebody who keeps an alarm, and when the alarm rings, he knows he has to drink water.
True, like reminders, right?
Yeah, yeah. So it is very important for us because see, at work, what happens? Colleagues will remind you, okay, come on, let's all go for lunch. Or you have
Mm.
that lunch break which you have to take, and if you don't take, then you don't get your lunch break,
True.
depending on what the nature of your job, right? So it is
Mhm.
important. Routine is important, and routine gives us a sense of safety. It's like a
Hmm.
safety net. It's telling you that okay, this is what you're supposed to do.
Hmm.
You're not
Hmm.
getting lost in the crowd.
True. True.
Then it is important also for you to take breaks because we're just sitting in front of our computers the whole day,
Right. Right.
right? Take breaks, exercise your body. You could do stretches,
Hmm. Hmm.
walk
Hmm.
around the house. Okay.
Right.
After 20 minutes of watching your screen, look away around 20 meters and stare at something for 20 seconds.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
You must have
Right.
heard that, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. But
Yeah.
when I even talk about this, like, kind of taking breaks, or for that matter, like you started by saying that, we all have been getting up at the same place and,
Hmm.
having people eating at the same place. Normally, psychologically, when we speak, it's usually said that if you have a particular place for studying, study at that place or possibly eat at
Yes.
that. But with the whole work system being at home, I think it's all happening in those four walls. So, and due to
Correct.
which, I mean, I personally feel that there's loss of concentration or lack of concentration. So, at home, when working from home, so how can one tackle that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the concentration part, yes. So see, like you said, right? Study. We used to say study at one place, eat at one place. So at home, this may not be possible because there are so many of us at home. One thing
Right.
that usually works is saying that okay, this side of the room I will keep when I'm working or when I'm
Hmm.
studying.
Hmm.
If
Hmm.
I move out of this room or if I go move out of this space and use the right hand side of the room, that would be for my entertainment, looking at YouTube videos or Netflix
Hmm.
or, social media. So one way of making your mind focus is, okay, this space is for work, this space is for entertainment. Other
Right.
than that, it is very and losing concentration is very very easy because again, there's so many things happening around you. There are people outside making noise, or
Hmm.
you're taking care of the house as well as your work. So
Hmm.
another thing that you will need to do is declutter your workspace. So
Right.
a lot of times we have chip packets and or a mobile phone
Hmm.
notifications. Those are some of the things that are really sort of distract us. So turn
Hmm.
off your notifications, turn off other apps which you don't use. Declutter, take out all things that are going to distract you from your workspace and
Hmm.
keep that space only for your laptop, your book,
Hmm.
pen, mobile, whatever is required.
Right.
Still, there may be people who are getting distracted, right? Because the
True.
mind is like that. Your mind is thinking. You may have a very clean space. You may be sitting in your workspace, but then you heard that your neighbor is unwell, or
Hmm.
you read something in the news. COVID
Right.
cases are increasing. Then your mind is not going to work. You've got negative thoughts, keep going. So another important thing is, something called the Pomodoro technique, where you set an alarm. Okay, it can be like usually 20 minutes, but if you think 20 minutes is also too much, start with 15 minutes and then increase it. But start with 20 minutes and then you can keep increasing it as you feel comfortable, or stick to it at the same time. So keep an alarm for 20 minutes. And in that 20 minutes, you just focus your mind on whatever work you're doing. Okay. So I had a client who was in the field of production, and she had to read a lot of scripts. So before she could they could approve it for further use. And she would say that I'm not able to sit and read those scripts. I'm getting very, distracted. Right. Yeah, and the scripts are just piling up. So I told her to use this technique where 20 minutes she would set the alarm and read the script. It could be reading the script, doing a file. Even me, if I have to write reports after my counseling sessions, I do that sometimes. I put the alarm and write the report. So every time my mind goes somewhere else, I tell my mind, hey, relax, another 5 minutes left, another 10 minutes left, and I come back. And after 20 minutes, take a break. So 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Then come back, set your alarm. But what happens is if you try to set your alarm for 40 minutes, 30 minutes, 50 minutes, then your mind will go away because the time span is high.
Yeah.
So do it whichever you feel, how much ever your concentration is. If you feel only 15 minutes I can do it for 15 minutes.
Start take one step at a time.
Yeah, take one step at a time. So that's the Pomodoro technique. Even for studies. Even this doctor client of mine, he followed the Pomodoro technique for studying. Okay. And then you also, set goals and prioritize. Setting goals. What is it that I'm going to do today? How much of it? And when you're setting goals, it has to be very specific in nature.
Right.
If you're going to study for an exam, you cannot say, okay, I'm going to study chapter 5. No. How much of chapter 5? What in chapter 5 what concepts in chapter 5 are you going to cover? It has to be very, very specific.
Right.
So that you will be able to measure it also later on. Like the SMART goals, right? Specific. Something that you can measure. Something that is relevant. Is it relevant for me to do this or not? Even at work, office. Okay? So you have so many people are telling you to do so many things. Do what is relevant at that particular time.
Right.
Yeah. And then,
So I think
that is... Yeah. So that is one part. And the other part is managing your time. You did have a session last week on time management. So in that also, I think Nitya spoke about, what is urgent. Do what is important first. So have a to-do list. Like for example, I have to talk to my manager. I have to buy office supplies. Let's say I have a PPT to submit tomorrow for a meeting. And I need to gather my team together to discuss the PPT. So you have this list, right? So then you say, okay, what is very important right now? What is very important and very urgent is to complete my PPT.
Right.
Then it is important and urgent to gather my team, organize for a team meeting so that we can go through the PPT. That is also important and urgent. What is important is to talk to my manager, but it is not urgent right now. Okay? Office supplies, it is important, but right now it is not important, nor is it urgent. I can buy it even later on. So once you have that, whatever you say is important and urgent, do it first. What you say is important, but not so urgent, you can do it later on.
Right.
And then what is important and not urgent, you can keep it for another day. What is not important and not urgent, you can keep it for another day.
Right. But when you talk about goal settings, like I do have specific goals for the day, but like I said that, usually saying no is very difficult. So, and in turn, it of course leads to, an imbalance in your work life, and then there's a loss of work-life balance. So how to be, and especially when your superiors is especially assigned you something. So how do you say no so that, there is a work-life balance also, that हाँ मैं 6 बजे के बाद काम नहीं करूँगी तो मैं नहीं करूँगी. So how do you kind of tackle this issue?
Yeah. So for this, you need to first be very consistent in your work. What do I
Hmm.
mean by consistency? So, if follow your deadlines as much as possible.
Hmm.
Make
Hmm.
submissions when you say you will.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
build trust with your superior, right?
Hmm.
So if you're saying that, okay, fine, this is the deadline, I can give this to you by tomorrow, then make sure you're delivering it by tomorrow. In case you're not able to deliver it by tomorrow for some reason, then make sure that you're communicating this to your superior in advance and telling your
Right.
superior that, your communication is very important. So telling your superior, I'm sorry, I told you I'll give this tomorrow, but these are the reasons I may not be able to give this to you tomorrow. So can we
Hmm.
change the deadline?
Hmm.
Or do you
Hmm.
think there's any other way if somebody can help me? So
Hmm.
having that constant communication with your superior, also taking feedback from your superior of whether he has understood your communication or not. So for example,
Right.
I am telling the superior that, yeah, you know what, it'll take me 3 days. And then you
Hmm.
ask the superior, is it okay if I take 3 days?
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
feedback.
Right.
When I ask him, is it okay? Then you're two things. One is you're seeing whether he heard you,
Hmm. Hmm.
and the
Hmm.
second thing is he okay with it? You're not just
Hmm.
assuming it is okay with him just
True.
because you've told him that, right?
Right.
So these things build trust. So
Hmm.
consistency builds trust. You can build trust only by communicating, keeping communication channels open. Even when
Hmm.
you're working from home, tell your team members, I'm really sorry, guys. Tomorrow I will not be able to do this because I have a doctor's appointment. Or
Hmm.
tomorrow I need to take off because I need to go, go to my child's school.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
not just there. So you're building. So you start building boundaries.
Right.
Not just at workplace. So if I'm a parent, right, and I'm doing something important, and my child comes and says, "Okay,
Hmm.
Mama, please, I'm going to tell you what happened in school today."
Hmm.
No, if I listen to her, then I'm going to lose my thought process,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
and if I don't listen to her, she's going to feel neglected, right?
Yeah.
So what do I do? So I tell my child, I would love to listen to what you are doing in school today,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
have this particular deadline to meet. Let me
Hmm.
finish this, and maybe at 6 o'clock in the evening, I sit with you and you can tell me.
Right.
So what's
Right.
happening here? Again, you're building the trust of your child. You're being consistent.
Hmm.
And at six
Hmm.
o'clock, do sit with your child and listen to your child wholeheartedly.
Hmm. Like that communication is basically the key. You can't end up assuming, and especially with the child example that you gave, I think these days what I have also observed is that snapping. That because we are working from home, that snapping.
Hmm.
Arey, you can't see I'm working. So that is very important that so that the child also doesn't feel neglected, right?
Yes, yes. Also, what is happening is you're building your boundaries and you're also teaching others to respect
Respect.
your boundaries. Okay?
Right.
And a lot of times we are not able to say no because of the guilt we feel.
True.
We are thinking about, if I say no, what will the other person think of me? If I say no, how will the other person react?
Hmm.
So, for
Hmm. Hmm.
example, my friend has come from Delhi, and then my friend is saying, "Oh, come meet me," but I have a very important presentation to do. So
True.
I'm feeling guilty to say no to my friend. But
Hmm. Hmm.
instead, if I talk to my friend and say, "Hey, listen, I really want to meet you, but unfortunately I have this presentation, so I'm sorry I cannot meet you, but you are important to me. Can we do
Hmm.
a video call for 10 minutes?
True. True. True.
I can't have coffee with you today, but I can talk to you for 10 minutes. I want to,
Hmm.
So, there are different ways of managing it.
True, true, true. Coming from this also, like you spoke about organizations and, kind of communicating. For a fact, I know that a lot of us are in the corporate world where we have to kind of do this. So what do you think in companies
Correct.
and organizations do to ensure that there is a work-life balance for their employees or colleagues for that matter? What do you think
Yeah.
are the steps they can take?
Sure. So actually, the companies are, a lot of companies are looking into how they can give this work-life balance, and there are different ways. One thing is like some companies do have like a gym, or they have an hour for yoga, or they have a yoga instructor coming and teaching yoga. I know there's this company who has a meditation room, so,
Oh, wow.
you can just go meditate. A lot of people go and meditate just before a meeting. So that,
Hmm,
why meditation is important, because it gives you awareness, self-awareness.
hmm,
It also
hmm,
calms yourself down. Okay, it's sort of and when you're calm when you're in a meeting, you are responding to a situation rather than reacting to a situation.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Right? A lot of times we react in anger.
Hmm.
Instead, when you
Hmm.
become aware that, okay, I'm going to start getting angry now, I better take a step back and let me process how I'm going to respond to the situation, it becomes more effective,
True. True. True.
right?
True.
So setting up meditation rooms, then, having these various activities
Hmm.
within the organization. So, celebrating festivals,
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah, and then you can also sort of do social work. A lot of companies do that, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I know there was this community event that I did, and we had a company sponsoring that event, and we had people from that company volunteering with us.
Right. Right. It does give you a satisfaction when you're doing that, to be honest.
Yeah,
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
some companies have daycare centers. So
Right.
you know that your child is safe. Or bring your family to work, so
True. True.
sort
True.
of thing. So there are many ways in which going out on picnics, having
Hmm.
sports days,
True.
all these sort of things help in maintaining the work-life balance.
True. True. I
And of
think
course, as all companies have a counselor
hmm.
where you can
Right.
go and talk and sort of share your emotions and feelings. There's nothing like that.
I think for the companies who don't have, they can come to IEC in that case. Because we will
Yes,
be happy to help.
yes, yes, and we do at ICE. We do help many companies.
Right, right, right. So, I think before when we had this live, I did also post a story and I got a little comments with regards to the questions that people have. So I'd like to,
Yeah.
of course, majority have been covered in your answers, but one or two I just like to, address this. So what do you
Okay.
think are the benefits of a work-life balance? Like, how do you think
Yeah.
it can benefit an individual?
So how would a work-life balance benefit an individual? So, when there is a work-life balance, you will see that you are able to handle stressful situations in a more effective manner.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Okay, because you're rested, you're thinking, your thought processes are more, are not very negative because you're able to think alternate thoughts as well, right? Then also what happens is you are fit and you're physically fit. Yeah, so and you see physical and mental health is connected. So
right.
if you're feeling low, if you have a headache, let's say, or if you're feeling sick, how is your
Mm,
mood? It's very low. You're feeling sad or feeling like I don't feel like doing anything, right?
mm,
If you're feeling very stressed or very anxious, physically
mm,
what happens to you? You may have back pain, headache,
mm, mm,
right?
mm,
So it is connected. So when there's a good sort of work-life balance, you're taking care of your physical as well as your mental status. When there is no work-life balance, it could and because of a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, it could lead to even clinical anxiety, depression.
mm.
Emotionally you're not well. You may be making the wrong decisions,
True, true,
right?
true.
Then with a good work-life balance, you have a good relationship with others.
Hmm,
People
hmm,
are not
hmm.
feeling like you are leaving them out, especially
True.
family. They're not angry with you. They're not fighting with you.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So also there was another question that I just like to read. In a long distance relationship, how to maintain the bond when you feel burned out from putting efforts in both work and relations?
Yeah. So in this, do you remember the role that the different roles that we play?
Hmm.
The
The
different roles that
binary.
we play?
Yes.
Yeah. So here, if you're only concentrating on your work or you're only concentrating on your long distance relationship, and you forget to keep, concentrate on the other roles of your life. For example, you're so busy, maybe just working, or so busy just connecting with in the long distance relationship, that you're also forgetting your own self care.
Hmm.
You're
Right.
forgetting other aspects of your life. You're not going to the gym, or you're not having your leisure activities,
Hmm.
or you're not eating well. Then
Hmm.
what will happen? Your energy levels will go low. If your
Hmm.
energy level is low, then your energy level will be low even at work, even with your other relationship.
Right.
So it is important for you to understand when your energy level is going down and then immediately try to take a break.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Taking a break is very important. So I
Hmm.
know that, if you're in a long distance relationship, your partner will probably get very angry with you for not connecting because you're taking a break. Or
Hmm.
your
Hmm.
boss may get very angry with you because you're not, submitting something on a deadline.
Hmm.
That is where communication becomes important.
Right. Right.
Communicating what you're doing, communicating where you are. With your partner, it is important to communicate your feelings.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Why, if you need some time off, communicate it to her.
Hmm.
She or he will, understand.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah. So,
I think more or less, like what I can make out of this conversation is the first priority for anything is you and yourself. And the second is communication is the key and having boundaries. So these
yes.
three things, I think, for having a healthy work-life balance also, or even in my previous, sessions that I had with IC, it did kind of emphasize upon your own self and, having boundaries and being very assertive when you have to. Right.
Yes.
One last question that I'd like to have that what schedule should one follow to increase productivity?
Yeah.
So,
So for increasing productivity, like I said, first of all, the goal is to increase productivity. So dress for it, right? Dress for your success, right?
right.
If you are like feeling groggy and sleepy and you're like, oh no, I have this to do, then your mind is not going to be productive.
True, true, true.
But in the morning, you're affirming by dressing for success. You're making affirmations to yourself. That
Hmm,
yes,
hmm,
these are the things that I have to go and complete today. So
hmm,
you're
hmm,
focusing. There is focus, and when there
hmm.
is focus, there is direction. When there
True.
is their direction, you know where to put the energy,
Hmm, hmm, hmm,
right? Then have a to-do list, because
hmm,
again the to-do list will tell you what to prioritize, what not to prioritize, how to
hmm.
focus. And when you have a to-do list, again it is in the present. It brings your mind to the here and the now. A lot of
Right.
times, anxiety and stress take us away from the here and now. It takes
Hmm,
us away to what if this happens, what if that happens, what if I can't do this, what if somebody says this to me. Somewhere
hmm,
into the future, which may or may not happen.
hmm.
And we
True.
forget to do what we have to do in the present.
Right.
Right? You have an exam, a big medical exam coming up, and you're thinking about, oh, are the other questions going to be easy or difficult? What marks am I going to get? Am I going to
True.
complete my paper or not? Your
Hmm.
mind is there, but you forget to study,
True. True. I think that's a
right?
vicious circle then we all fall into in that case.
Yeah.
Right.
Take breaks
Hmm.
because you need to rejuvenate it, right? It's like a balloon, okay? Imagine that I'm blowing a balloon, blowing a balloon, blowing a balloon, blowing a balloon. The air will fill up and the balloon will burst.
Right. Right.
If you don't have a break, you're just working and working and working and working. How much work will you carry?
Hmm.
How much air will you fill in that balloon? How much work will you carry? You're going
True.
to just, because you're going to flatten out.
True. True. True.
Right?
True.
Then get enough sleep because sleep is also very, very important. Okay,
Hmm.
when there is sleep, again your brain is rest. The
Hmm.
neurotransmitters are rejuvenated. The neurotransmitters, the neurons, what are these? These help you in your brain to communicate. It tells you what to do, what you're looking at, what you're seeing. It is
Hmm.
comprehending what has to happen, what has
Hmm.
you have to do. It's
Hmm.
also like very important in all the different chemicals that make you happy, make you strive for success. So
Hmm.
all that
Hmm.
is very important. And then
True.
communication again. Communicate.
Right. True.
Yeah.
I think
So
communication is basically something that I've seen consistent all throughout is communication. And I think personally, with work-life balance, ever since the pandemic, like I said, at some point or the other, even I have struggled with, like especially the pie chart was an eye-opener for me, realizing that where do I actually need to focus on and which roles. So I'm definitely going to indulge into communicating and having boundaries and of course, the sleep, because I know for a fact that sleep is something that I am personally lacking in. Like those sleep schedules, raat ko late sona, and then, having work the next day. So definitely. But yes, I think we've also most probably covered all the questions, and there are these amazing comments that we've received. That's such an insightful session. So nice of you, and these hearts that have come on our way. So, with this, I think we just wrap up the session today, keeping in mind that we've also exceeded our time limit talking about this very important topic. So, it was a pleasure talking on this and about this, and I hope at least we can, even if we can help and reach out to those one or two people, it is a mission successful for us. So,
Yes.
thank you so much for doing this and coming in. And thank you to all our viewers for staying in and watching this video. Lots and lots of love. Stay tuned for the upcoming sessions from the Love of You series, and looking forward to you guys joining in. Thank you, Kumkum. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nidhi. Thank you.
Bye. Take care.
Bye bye.